Hello my friends, this is Env Decay again with another tutorial, this time on the analog rhythm and how to create chords with it that sound like this. Okay, first things first, we need to record the output of the rhythm this time because we are creating this chord with 3 different tracks, and yeah, it's much easier to record it and bring it back as a sample, so we can select the individual chords with sample start and end points, and also add a 4th note to it to actually expand that chord later. So without further ado, let's go in and let's create this sound. So we are on the sample page, on the synth page right here. I'm choosing bass drums for this. At the moment the rhythm is completely reset, so it sounds like this. Pretty standard. Now I'm choosing the bass drum that I want to use for this purpose, and this is the BD Classic. For me it sounds very well suited for that kind of thing. I'm first turning down the transients completely, sweep time and sweep depth as well. Bring up the hold time and the decay, so we get much longer decay, and bring up the tuning to a level where I know that it will sound right. This is plus 58 in that case. Now I go to the amplitude page, remove the hold here and bring the decay down so that it's not so long. And when I now go to the chromatic mode and try to play it, it sounds like this. Yeah, I think that's fine. Okay, right here we have the option to choose the waveform that we want to use. The first one is kind of a square wave, I think. Second one kind of a triangle, and the last one is the one we use. This is kind of a saw wave. I think this is what we use. Okay, now without anything else we could go in and try some overdrive. Or we could actually choose use an LFO for that, using this exponential with a shape of 1 and a Oneshot mode, and try this. Go further. And I think it needs to be a little bit slower. Even slightly slower. That sounds okay. So let's just simply use that one. And let's go, we will copy this to the individual tracks now, so let's go to the sound menu here, on the sound manager. We are on the first track. Let's say we store this track sound, so we have it. Now we go to the next one. No, we don't store it, we load it to this track. And we load it to that one as well. Now we have this. 3 times the same sound, and I've prepared a chord progression already, quite a simple one, and this will now sound like this. And that's exactly the thing that we would now need to record. And to show you how I do this, I quickly jump over to Ableton Live here. show you how I do this. This is the actual audio recording that I need to do for the video. So without further ado, I go in, hit the record button, and I start to play. Okay, that's what I need. Now I go in here and actually zoom in this area to find the place where the chord starts. It's round about here, but it doesn't really matter. I just take it up to the point where I want it. Quickly crop it, select this thing, and make it a bit louder so that it's actually of the same level that we needed, because it comes in much quieter. So now that I have this one, I go up here and export that thing, just the section that I've selected. I export it. I don't know, call it Chords or something. I don't really know. Just quickly exported that thing. Now I have my Sys tool right here, so I open that up. My Mac is not the fastest, by the way. Okay, now just let me show where. Let me quickly find this thing. It's somewhere here. Yeah, that's the thing we need. It sounds like this. That's very loud, but that's the one we want to use. So I put that in and actually start to send it over to the rhythm now. And because it is a longer sample, it might take a while, and I will stop the video and be right back. Okay, here we go. Sample is almost transferred and it is done. Okay, so now that this is all set, I move on to the rhythm again, and I've already muted those two tracks right here that were the second and the third voice, so I deactivated those. So I'm just on the first track. This sounds like this. And now in the globals we have the sample that was actually sent to the incoming folder. If you haven't set this differently, it's actually going into the incoming folder. So I select this sample and say load to project. Now I have this sample right here and I can select it. Those other two are from earlier tests. So I have the sample right here, and as you can hear, it sounds a bit weird. But let me check that. Okay, that's actually how it should be. So that's the first chord we have. And now we have another note right here, and I can do it like this. And you hear that the sample is actually pitched with it. We don't want this behavior, so we go to the sound settings right here, and we have this chromatic mode. So if I turn this to synth only and play chromatically again, you can hear that it's not affecting anything else. It doesn't affect the sample anymore, it's just affecting the synth. So we use this to our advantage to create chords that are different now. So let's try to find another chord here. do something like this, just exactly how we want it. Okay, while fiddling around a little bit, I've came up with a final result, which is okay, I think, and it sounds like this. Pretty unspectacular the way it is right now, so let's actually start to copy some of those steps and yeah, have some sort of melody going on, bring the reverb in, and also the delay. And with the delay I did something to give it kind of like a chorus type of sound. So I put down the time here, turned on the ping-pong, made the width up, and actually turned down the feedback to 0. So let's try 1 and let's have a listen to the final result. Okay, and that's it. I think you maybe you find this useful, and if you do so, leave me a comment or leave a like. And until when, I see you next time. Bye.